of things. And then for me to try to then continue and try to learn all these new people that are now available in the music industry, like I'm still trying to keep up, man. There's so many of them now.
Okay. Yeah. So are you bigger on more like the mainstream hip hop, or do you like more the underground? Say, and that's the thing because you're still learning about the culture. So I don't know how you categorize hip hop in your head. So, are you more familiar with the radio based stuff, or more like the underground ways, like the gritty hip hop?
It's it's like a weird it's like a weird middle ground. Like for
Okay.
for me, again, as we were just mentioning kind of off air, it's more of the people that I've learned to understand who they are as artists and
Hmm.
their level of dedication. So, for example, like I just had Logic originally
Hmm.
kind of started a little bit more underground, now is a little bit more
Yeah.
mainstream, but
Yeah.
he also takes his music very seriously. He
Yeah.
understands the craft and will not shy away from that, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, there's
Definitely.
that, but then, you obviously have like your underground legends who again take it very seriously. So I think it's like almost like a case by case basis, but do I like everything mainstream? No. But do I like
Yeah. Yeah.
everything, yeah, do I like everything underground? No, but it's not any a knock to anybody that's underground. Again, I just view it as it's not for me.
Exactly. Like you have a mood and a time for certain genres of music that you may be feeling throughout the day. Yeah. I feel you.
Exactly, and I've said this many times. I wish people would, when they're giving critiques, more so, it's not for me versus it's trash,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
because there's a
Yeah.
vast difference in that, because it's like it's not for me. Okay, it's not your style. It's just like the clothing that you wear. Everybody's different with
Exactly.
their style, but nobody knocks somebody because they always wear khakis and they don't wear jeans because jeans are not for them. They're just like, oh, they wear khakis,
Yeah. Yeah. Like some
but
people,
don't do that for music.
yeah, like some people criticize people's like you know whenever I'm making a beat or whenever I'm making something, I consider that my art. So so people, a lot of people are quick to call somebody's art trash, and that's very offensive. It may not be for you at that time. You know, so I think people should be more critical when they're making comments about people's art. Like if you're a painter, and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into a piece, and somebody who hasn't done this shit a day in their life comes around and calls it trash. You're like, bruh, like, you don't know the time I spent putting this together. Just
Mhm.
be like, hey, it's just not my style. Or
Yeah,
maybe it's not for me. But some people just need to chill with the way that they talk sometimes when it comes to people. I think when you learn how to use your words differently, you become a better person, and it shows how much intelligence you have. Like it's quick to call something trash, but do you really know how long it took to make this, or how long it took to create this sound, or just things like that.
yeah. Or even the other question is like asking that person why. I bet you
Yeah.
most of the time they're not gonna be able to tell you why. They're just gonna be like, "Dude, the song's trash, dude. It's just trash." Like, I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
what else
yeah,
to tell
but
you.
tell me
It's just
why.
trash.
Is that yeah, yeah, but like just tell me why you think it's trash. And like
Hmm.
you said, they'll stutter around their words, they'll try to figure out something, but 9 times out of 10 they can't even tell you why it's trash. They just don't like it. It's like, or they may not just like it because it's you. It's just people. There are people out there who are just
Facts.
spiteful. You could have
Facts.
made the illest beat, the illest song, painted the illest painting, and because it's you, they're gonna be like, no, it's trash. But let somebody else do that same beat, that same painting. Oh man, that's just crazy. Oh, it's like there's people like that out there. So you got to take the good and the bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Sometimes you just gotta just, all right, man. I'm not even gonna let this bother me, because at the end of the day, man, you just gotta keep rolling.
Exactly. So
Cool, cool.
that's how
Well,
it goes.
what's going on, everybody that's tuned in right now? My name is Jay Faith, and this is the Right Mind Wednesdays podcast, where we just sit down, make connections through conversations, and just help people grow, and build some community. Just again, just allowing people to grow. Make sure you follow us Instagram, YouTube. We are now on Spotify as well as Apple Music for podcasts. So make sure you check that out if you are tuning in later. You got plenty of options to hear this, so please don't miss out. We've got A lot of great conversations coming your way as well as past. So make sure that you tune in and let's just continue to build and grow. But enough out of me. We're here to talk to this gentleman to my left or right, whichever direction my hand is going to point and make its way in the right direction because it's always mirrored. What's going on, Travis? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you, man?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm in Chicago. I'm from Massachusetts. It's definitely different out here. I'm out here on
Okay.
work, but you know what? I'm always down to have a nice conversation, and we gonna have it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, of
How's
course.
how's things been going on with you, man?
I'm good, man. It's just just focus, man. I actually just got over having the flu for a week, so I was kind of out of it. So I'm finally back on my feet and feeling better, and looking forward to finishing this project that I got coming up. Is actually my debut project as a producer, called the LCI project, named after my aunt who passed from cancer.
Sorry to hear that, man.
And it's yeah, man. I appreciate that. It's a introduction and a dedication. That's really what the basis of this project is about, and I'm looking forward to releasing it under Black House Records. Shout out to Jamil, my bro Jamil Honesty, and my bro Coach the God. Two great individuals helping me get this off the ground. I'm happy to be with Black House, and I'm just ready to go, man, and I'm excited to release this to the world, and I hope that they like it.
That's always a great feeling, man. And I can definitely understand where you're coming from is trying to release something kind of dedicated to somebody. What has that process kind of been like for you? Because obviously, I'm assuming, I can only assume that this person was very close to you. So, like, what has that process been like in kind of, keeping their memory and obviously dedicating it to them?
It's a very touchy situation because my aunt, who I'm dedicating this to, she helped raise me along with my mother. She was in my life all my life. Since I was like probably like 2 3 years old, she helped raise me, and when she passed away, it was like a part of me dying. So that my aunt is a very special person to me. So when I decided to name my debut project after her, I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself, but it's like good pressure because I feel like anything that I dedicate to her has to be 100% on point. It's got to be something that I put. I always put my time and effort into everything that I do, but this is just going to hit different. One, because it's my first project, and two, it's a dedication to her. So I just really, when I decided to name it that, I'm just like, all right, this has to be, something crazy, and it's got to be like off the wall, like every little thing has to hit right. Every song has to have a meaning to it. It's like everything has to be on point. So it's a lot of emotion going into it because I've had nights where I've stayed up late going through samples, making beats, talking to artists, trying to get things together, and it's like you're just so invested in this because it's like it's your first project, and obviously your first impression is everything. You know, so you want that to be some, in my opinion, your best outing. But when you dedicate it to somebody you love and care about, oh, it multiplies tenfold. You know.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, I feel like you've almost like doubled the pressure of
I did.
of what it is. It's like not only your first project, like you said, is like always like the ultimate pressure. It's like, okay, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna release this and make sure that people recognize it? But then also like, I want to make sure that I'm doing it justice to the person that I'm dedicating it to.
Exactly, exactly. And like I was saying, I was mentioning, my brothers Jamil and Coach the God. They are helping me bring this all to fruition and like paint this picture, and the cover art is dope and everything is like it's gonna be a great project. I have some great artists, some great artists on there, and it's definitely gonna be a great all around project.
For sure. One of the things that I've definitely learned, especially recently in the past, year and a half, which I consider recent, is taking the time to do those things, to work on those details. I feel like, again, speaking for myself, like there were times where I kind of skipped over some details and trying to just get stuff out, where I'm glad
Mhm.
to hear that people, like yourself, especially starting out, are really like, no, like every detail matters and that's so important and can drastically change how something is released or put out, or whatever platform you
Exactly.
follow, uh, whatever platform you follow as a creator.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I just can't wait to finally, like, because I was gonna release it back in mid-April, and that was before I actually got with Black House Records and things like that. And once I got with them, like, I spoke to Coach, and he was like, "Nah, man, we need to get you a single. We need to roll this out. We need to do." It's like when you have that backing, it means more than just trying to release it solo on your own, because now you have people that can help curate this whole thing with you, and they have a vision with you. So now it's like, I have this backing, and it's great to have. They give me ideas, and when I get in my head and I'm just like, hey, this ain't sounding right, they keep me motivated and just go, hey, take a day off, come back to it. Because sometimes when you try to flood your mind with all these different thoughts and different ideas, you start getting like, oh, I can't think of anything. So
Hmm.
they've definitely, when I've had days of like anxiety of trying to get things done, they calm me down and go, yo, bro, just take a day. It'll come back to you, and it'll come right back to me. So I'm just grateful to have those people in my corner, that can really help me out and just get me through this process. Because I know once I get done the first project, and once you get those butterflies out your system, then it's like, all right, every project after that, it's just it's clockwork. So
Yeah, and you start off on the right foot. Like you've already built kind of the steps that you're gonna follow. A good system that you've created right off the bat. And
yep,
like we were talking off air, like you were fortunate to find people that are not only in your corner but are guiding you into the right steps. You were like, yeah, I'm gonna drop my first project. And they're like, wait, hold on, like let's respectfully, let's take a step
yeah,
back. Let's here's some ideas of how I think it would benefit you moving forward. Let's drop a single. Let's do X,
yeah,
Y, and Z.
exactly,
And those people are so important. Those mentors, those people that are really out there doing it for the right reasons and being like, yo, I see so much in you. And either A, I want to continue to push that, and B, I want to continue to build that because I know that you have the heart, and I want to make sure that we continue to push that and push that and push that and push that because you're here for the right reasons, and you're ready to put the work in, and you've shown that.
exactly, exactly. And that's what Coach was telling me. He was like, "Yo, man, like, I've been tapping into your Instagrams because I'll go live and I'll make beats and I'll go through my process and stuff." And he's like, "Bro, like, I see you put the work in." And Coach works with some great artists, like some great artists. And he's like, "Man, I wouldn't even be looking your way if I thought that you wasn't worth it, man." So he's like, "Yeah, I've been seeing you work, and like your work ethic is great, and I'm glad to have you on." So just having that type of acknowledgement from certain people who have been doing this, and people that work with great artists and see that potential in you is everything. You know.
Yeah, action proves itself.
Yeah.
um sometimes people, we always talk about like social media and stuff and like everything that we put up, but at the end of the day, like again, you can kind of decipher, and again, the people that are really putting in the work and showing that it gets recognized. And
Yeah.
again, it's great to shout out to Coach, as you call him,
Yeah.
for recognizing that and giving people a chance. That's just super dope, man. That's super dope.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just can't wait for y'all to hear it. And it's crazy because after I get off, here, I'm actually going to go through a couple of my beats that I've been working on and things like that. So, like you said, man, this thing never stops. You got to keep working. So I mean, so it's definitely going to be a good time. This year is going to be a good year because this will be my second year, producing, and that first year was everything, but I feel like this second year is going to be dope. I just got so many different ideas, and I'm still learning things. Like it's a very exciting time. I could only imagine how some producers, when they were on their climb or when they were on when they were on their ascension, really like enjoyed the times where you're learning and when like you're meeting new artists, and when you're like I'm sure like the Just Blazes and the Kanyes and the all the producers that we hold so dear to us. I could only imagine their first year or two or even 5 years of producing music, and learning certain things, and then like the easier, like you're just able to bring everything that you want to fruition so easily because you're learning and you're learning. Like that's a great part, you know.
I don't think people really understand the value of taking the time to learn something. I feel like they're
Oh
just
yeah.
like, "Oh, I just got to do it. I just got to do it. Just got to do it. Just got to do it." But like learning learning it is like you said, it's like bliss almost.
It is.
I'll be honest, like so I've learned, geez, I'm like I just had like a huge brain fart. Um I was learning like recording, like
Mhm.
from input to switching over to the mixing and mastering side, and just learning all of those things, like it gave me such a sigh of relief when it came
Mhm.
to actually recording, because I knew that everything was finally set up where it needed to be. And I
Okay.
was just like,
Yeah.
word, like I can just record and just know that
Yeah.
because
Like
I
you
took
don't
the
got to worry
time.
about everything else. Mhm. Yep.
I took the time, and then it's also just knowledge, like you just know. So when I go into studios and I work with engineers, I'm like, hey, like, can we switch this or switch that? And I don't
Mhm.
sound like an idiot going, yeah, you know that thing with like the buttons and like the waves, can we like tweak that a little bit? But I can actually be like, hey, like, the let's tweak the low end a little bit. It's on a.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you can walk in a room and talk that talk with people who've been doing this and not sound stupid. Like you know what you're talking about, and that feels good because you put the time in. And you're like, yo, I know what all this means. Like I can look at everything being set up and know where everything goes. You know?
It definitely builds your confidence, and
It does.
when you walk in that room, people understand, okay, this dude's ready to work. He's not just trying to kind of ride on somebody else's wave
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just being like,
Like
oh, like I know how to write music, but I need somebody to just record everything, to just mix and master everything, to promote everything. Even
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have those people, it's so much more beneficial to still learn what it is that they're talking about.
Exactly. And that's why so many producers are trying to also get into the engineering as well, because sometimes you spend so much time as a producer waiting for an engineer to mix and master your stuff to where you can just sit back and learn the process yourself to go, listen, this dude keeps standing me up, or maybe he's just so busy that I can't get my stuff done. I can do it myself now. I can sit back and
Mhm.
just mix and master my own stuff, you know? And that takes so much, stuff off your back because then you're sitting back waiting for, hey, did he even listen to it? Did he do this? Did he do that? I got a date to hit. It's stressful.
Yeah, those
So
timelines, man. I'm telling you.
yeah, no, it's yo. I'm learning about it now, and it's like, man, like you think you know, and then you have somebody who's been doing this for years tell you, bro, you're not gonna be able to release this in that time. Like, you think you know until somebody who's been doing this for years tells you, and you're like, nah, bro, you need to take it back a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's such a wake-up call, and a lot of people not in the music industry sometimes don't understand that process. It's not
Mhm.
something that necessarily happens within just a month of like building a
No.
project and stuff like that. People think, oh, I just heard like he's been working on music. Oh, now there's a new project. Well, no, that probably took like a year and a half of full
Exactly.
creativity in itself.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
even like the year and a half, like then the project is done, but then now it's like, okay, now we're gonna take another like 2 months and just work on marketing and make sure that everything
Exactly.
on that side is done. So
Exactly.
there's so many different steps, but just educating yourself in all of that. Again, even if somebody else is kind of doing it, it just helps things translate a lot easier.
Yeah.
You can have those conversations and be like, hey, I want it to look like this. And then when they're responding to you, you can be like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. And like that's the thing. Like I remember when I first, I said this like probably months and months ago. Like this is probably like 6 months, 7 months into me producing, and I'm like, hey, if I ever did a fully produced project, like a compilation, who would be down to, give me a verse or be on it? And man, the feedback I got was just, great, and it just shows, when you're genuine and you got, when you really show that you want to help people and like really just be there for them. Like, I promote, all my homies stuff. Like if they have a project coming, if they have any type of song coming out, if they got anything, I'm the first to post it, because I want to
Mhm.
see them win too. Like, so when I got that feedback, it just meant so much to me because I'm like, man, they see me working and they see how bad I want this. When people see you working and they see you putting in that effort, they're willing to help you because it's not like you're asking for a handout. Like they see you busting your ass day in and day out. They go, oh yeah, this cat's for real. Like, this ain't just some like shit he does for a hobby. This is something he takes seriously. So, it's all about getting the love and respect from your peers. I think a lot of people forget about that. So many people
Mhm.
are so big to go, oh man, I don't need nobody. I'm good. Da, da, da. Like, bro, like, getting that love and
Absolutely.
respect from your peers is everything. Like that's one of the biggest things that I love. When I first started producing, just hearing some of the cats that I listened to on the underground wave and them, embracing my sound and wanting production from me, man, that was the biggest gift for me. There's no dollar amount that could have amounted to that. Like
Mhm.
it's dope. Like once you get that feeling, it's like a drug. You want more of it, and that makes you want to work harder. You know.
Definitely. And you're also supporting other people. So, like you said, like it's not that you're trying to get a handout because you're also trying to support other people. You're posting
Yeah.
stuff, you're sharing their stuff. So it's not all about you. It's about that give and take and just support system.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. It's like they always just look for, hey, let's collab and then like let's never talk again. Like some people are like that, and that's fine, but you just got to know like that person is not going to be the type that's going to support you in your journey. There are some people, this whole music thing is also about building relationships,
Mhm.
seeing a chemistry that you have between, as a producer and the artist, and it's like, once you build that chemistry with certain artists, it's like, it's magic, and you can't duplicate that with anybody else. You may work great with one person, and then with another person, your stuff is like, it's not the
Mhm.
best, but it's just about building those relationships, and that's part of the journey.
Yeah, there's been people which sadly, and I would love to reconnect with them at some point. I haven't really talked to them in quite a while, but I still remember and still bring up in conversations just like this right now that
Hmm.
have supported me, and hopefully they know and recognize that even though we may not talk anymore, or and again hopefully we can reconnect, that their memory, if you will, I don't want to sound too doom and gloom, is still very important to me. I remember I was
Yeah.
going live one time and I was working on a song and they were like, "Hey, that song sounds like a car wash song." So initially I called the song Car Wash because I was like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
dope. That's a cool take. Thank you
Yeah.
for listening." They were giving feedback and everything. And so
Yeah.
I named the song Car Wash and I've
Hmm.
kept it ever since. And but it's just one of
Okay.
those things of the people supporting and effortlessly and just really just being there. And again, even though we don't talk, I still owe them so much love for
Yeah.
just being there in that time period.
Exactly, and just showing you like, hey man, like I see you. That's one of the biggest things. Like people just like, yo, I see you working. Like sometimes that's the best compliment in itself. Sometimes you'll have days and nights where you just feel like, yo, nothing's clicking. Like
Hmm.
like your mental, you feel like you're drained out. You're everything that you're doing just don't sound right. But then you get that one comment from somebody that really like that you not look up to, but just you may be a fan of, or somebody that that means the most to you, and they go, yo, I see you working, bro, like keep doing you, like you're gonna get it. Sometimes that's all you need to get you out of that dark spot, and once you get out of it, it's like you taking off all over again.
Yeah, I actually had that moment while I was here because, and this was more work related, but it was
Mhm.
it was kind of along the same lines. I was talking to somebody from another club. I work with kids. It's kind of
Mhm.
it's a military boys and girls club to keep it simple.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he was from another club, and we finally got to meet in person. He was like, "Yo, you work at Hanscom, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yo, we've been watching your Instagram, and I've been telling my new guy that's in the same position that you are to
Mhm.
check out your stuff because I love what you're doing." And I'm like, yo, we need to mimic what this guy's doing. And in my head
Yeah.
before that, I was like, I was reflecting even last week and thinking, man, like, what am I doing as a team, as a team coordinator? I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm
Mhm.
not just putting in the effort that I can and
Yeah.
really showing what I can really do. And then just hearing that, I was like, okay, maybe I am on the right step. And, just
See?
want to, I'm
Yep.
glad that I'm here in this space because they do like a lot of different workshops and stuff. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I found that, okay, I'm not doing so bad. But now
Yeah.
let's take this time to grow and be like, okay, let's take it to the next level and hopefully, you know, they'll continue to grow on that. And
Yep.
it was just dope to hear, something like that and just get that
No,
recognition.
no, that and sometimes God, and I say I'm a big believer, like God puts you in certain places for a reason, and you were meant to be in that spot to get that acknowledgement at that time, and you were feeling some type of way, like you weren't putting in enough effort, and bang, just like that, you heard those words, and now it's like, yo, I'm on the right track.
Yeah. And
So
it's just continuing to grow. Like I've always been that firm believer, one, like we'll never have it all figured out. Um,
no,
and you just it's the growth is the best part. The
it
continuing
is.
to learn is the best part.
It is. I've talked to producers who've been doing this 10, 15, 20 years, and they're like, bro, the one thing about doing this shit is that the beauty of it is that you'll never get to a point to where you know it all. There's always something that you can do to make yourself better at producing music. And he's like, yo, that's one of the most beautiful things about doing this is that you never get complacent. You're always learning something new or finding a new trick or, doing something to enhance your sound or make it sound cleaner or make it sound better. Like so he's like, yo, man, that's one thing that keeps me motivated and keeps me going is that I'm always learning something new. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to soak up as much information as possible, put in as many hours as I can. Like I said, when I had the flu last week, it really had me bummed out because I didn't even touch my laptop, none of that. I was just
Mm,
aired out. So I was like, hey man, when I get better and I get back to it, it's full steam ahead because I got a project
yeah,
to finish and but yes, like I said, just doing this and just always learning something new is just it's one of the most beautiful parts about this. So
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So where does 88 beats, blessed beats, excuse me, kind of come from? I hear you talk about spirituality and things like that. Not to make a judgment or
no.
assumption, I should say, not judgment, assumption. But can you explain a little bit more? I hear you guys, and in the comments, 88
Yeah,
coming up next.
yeah. So 88 actually is the year I was born.
Okay,
Blessed,
same.
the blessed part was so before I even thought about producing music, I was always big on listening to samples, always hearing where the song came from. Before some of the best rap songs that we've ever heard in life come from some of the best oldie samples that you can think of.
100%.
So I'm sitting there, I'm having a drink, and I'm watching TV, and I'm listening to this song, and my mom is actually in the kitchen, and she's like, I see you bopping your head to something. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to this song because in my head, I'm thinking of like, if I was to produce this song, where would I want to put the drums? Where would I want to do this? Where would I want to do that? And, I'm just listening to it and I'm like, Mom, like, this is, I can't remember which song it was because I was trying to tell her the sample and then the original and then the actual rap song. But I'm like, Mom, do you hear that little loop or that little 10, 15 seconds of where those lyrics loop around? And da-da-da? She's like, okay, so I'm like, all right, listen to that, and then I'm gonna turn this song on, and I'm gonna show you where it comes in. So I did that, and she's like, you heard that through all that? I'm like, Mom, this is, I listen to music like every day. Like this is just something like it's muscle memory to me. Like I can hear any type of sample and know exactly where the sample is and know where it goes within the song. She's like, yo, that you're blessed. When it comes to that. So that's
Mm,
where the blessed part came from. So 88 blessed, and then beats, explains
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah.
So it's just really just me learning and just me always being. I've always been a fan of music. My uncles. Both of them who passed away. My uncle Kenny and my uncle Freddie. They had me big on jazz music.
Mm,
Oldies and things like that. I would always listen to all the great oldies. And things like that, and that type of music was really embedded in me. And then my cousin, well, I consider him like my brother, who also passed away. There's a lot of people I've lost. My brother who passed away, he he was actually real big on Wu-Tang Clan. Like he was one of the biggest Wu-Tang Clan
Mm,
fans you could ever think of. So imagine me as a little kid or as a baby sitting in the car hearing Wu-Tang Clan, and then as I got older, you know, it was Jay-Z, it was Nas, it was Biggie, it was Pac, it was all that.
yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that's where it came from, man. And just I just always had that love for music, and I never thought in my mind that I was good enough to produce until I guess you say 2 summers ago. I'm sitting next to my friend Xavier, who's a great producer. Um, one of the best mentors that I could ever ask for. I'm sitting next to him at the cookout. I'm like, bro, I want to produce music, and I know he did it. And
Mm,
he was like, yo, you serious? He was like, I was like, yeah, I'm dead serious. He was like, all right, well, in his own words, he said, get your shit, and once you get it, I'm gonna be over here, and we gonna work. So I bought the same exact piece of equipment he has. We both use the machine. So I got mine. He brought his over, and from that day forward, it was in November. From November of 2020. Um,
mm.
it was November 2020. Yeah, 2020. I've just been working and working and working and working and just pushing and pushing and pushing and just learning every little thing. And I remember hearing my song played overseas for the first time. It was crazy. Shout out to my brothers Motto and Hustle, great dudes. Like they were the first two artists to really rap over my beats. My homie Silk, who's from around the way, I would play some of my beats. I would go to his house and play some of my beats over there, and he would rap to my stuff. And it's just just so many people within the underground lane and just platform who really embraced me. And like I said, it's just crazy, man. Like I couldn't have asked for a better year starting off as a producer. you know so
Yeah, for sure,
that's
for sure. I mean,
you know
yeah, 2020 was such a weird time, but like I've mentioned
yeah.
before. Go
I
ahead.
think it was 2021. I could be wrong because I said it was a year, so it's probably like a year. I'm pretty sure it's like 2021. But
Mm,
yeah, it's been about a year and some change since I started, so it had to be November 2020 or somewhere within that range. But I've been doing this for a year and some change, and it's like just just trying to take so much in at once, and then you're still trying to progress. So I have a lot of moments of like anxiety and like frustration, but like I said, having mentors that bring you back down to level ground and go, listen, bro, I've been doing this shit for 10 years, and I'm still not in certain rooms that I want to be in.
mhm.
And it's that's one of the best things about having people who really want the best for you and want you to succeed, is that they'll bring you back down to that ground level to go, bro, it's fine. Just take some time, take a day off, take a week off, clear your mind, and get back to it. Like you're doing this for a reason. You have a gift. Just sometimes there'll be days where you're not feeling it, and there'll be days where you knock out 5 beats in one day. But that's what this whole journey I've been through a lot of that. So
It puts things in perspective because sometimes you just feel like you're going off the rails and you're about to derail, and then it's good to just finally hear like, no, no, you're cool. Like everything is
exactly.
fine, and then you're like,
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So that's one of the best things about having those people in your corner, is that it keeps you from going off the ledge. Like, oh my God, this ain't working. Da da da. Like those people will calm you down.
yeah, because anxiety will kill you. I deal with it a lot myself when it comes to
Mhm.
creating the music and stuff like that. Like you just get so
Mhm.
just enveloped in it, and it can really take you for I know speaking for me at least, like it takes me out of it sometimes, and I'm just like, man, like
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like maybe I should just stop. Like where am I going? Where's this music going? I'm not in the place that I need to be, and
Mhm.
sometimes you need those people to just take you off the ledge.
Exactly. And just be like, yo, bro, calm down, man. Like you're here for a reason. You're talented. You can do this. It's just you're just having a moment right now, which is fine. You just
Hmm.
take a step back and take a deep breath and get back to it. You know.
Yeah, we are here. I mean,
So
you are here for a reason. I mean, again, you're here today, so there was a purpose to it. So
exactly.
just use it. I try to tell that to my teens all the time, especially when they're going through difficult stuff, and that they keep reflecting back on the old stuff, and I say, man, like you went through that, and you're still here. So there's a
Mhm.
reason you're still here. So stop
Here.
looking at the
Yep.
stuff that you went through and let's work on why. Why are you
Yeah.
here?
Exactly. Exactly. So that's sometimes yeah, we're always so great at giving the advice, and sometimes we don't take a step back and take our own. Like, we'll say that to everybody in the room, and then we'll be in a room by ourselves and go, "Oh, this is not working." Like, "Oh, it's horrible." And then,
Yes.
and it's crazy. Like, like we'll do that day in and day out when we should look in the mirror and take our own advice and go, "Yo, bro, it's gonna be fine. Like, just chill out. It's cool." you know. Know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out to Rich, Red X Line. I don't know if you can see the comments. He's actually here in Chicago. Hopefully, I'll get a chance
Okay.
to meet
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I see the comment, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely right. There's people that say I did this all myself. Nobody helped me. But like, if you really made it, there's no way that. I mean, there could be those diamonds in the rough, but to say that you just. But even then, using this as an example, just kind of piggybacking off what you just said,
Mhm.
you even if you're doing it by yourself, you had to learn it from somewhere, which means you learned it from someone. Even if you were looking up YouTube videos
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
DJ Slay or whoever,
Yeah.
Swiss Beats,
Swiss
and
beats.
you're like, oh, I want to learn how to make beats. So you did it with Swiss Beats. Like your mentor
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Swiss Beats. Like so
Yeah. Yeah.
you didn't do
Yeah.
it by yourself.
Exactly. And people forget that. They act like because they saw it on YouTube, oh, they did it by themselves. No, bro. You looked up that video on YouTube, and somebody was on YouTube telling you which buttons to press, which things to get, which plugins to get, how to do this, how
Mhm.
to do your samples like this. Like, yeah, you had mentors. They weren't in the physical. They weren't sitting next to you, but you watched the videos and you learned. So a lot of people they forget that.
That's part of the journey. And as hip hop, it's taking something like I'm sure and obviously growing up with jazz and 90s hip hop, those were all things that were sampled from jazz and the old school classics and
Exactly.
rebranded into what hip hop is, and it's still continuing today. So to say that you basically manifested your entire career yourself
Exactly. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah, just
Just
like I see, I see a lot of producers, and like I said, I show love to all producers. Everybody does what they do, but there's certain producers who play keys, and they do the composition things. Sometimes they look down on producers that use samples. Some people, they look down on people that sample oldies or sample certain songs, and they're like, oh yeah, sampling and did it. I'm like, bro, like stop, please, like
the creativity in itself.
sampling. Exactly. Half the songs that you love day in and day out is from a sample. Like without those
Mhm.
samples, you wouldn't be listening to those songs. So I'm just like, man, like people that talk that mess, I just tune them out. But it's just funny because like, you know, I respect because listen, I can't, I'm learning how to play keys, I'm learning how to play bass notes, I'm learning how to play all that stuff. I have certain mentors who help me with that as well, and like, they're great. But I don't look down or I don't look at people who can do it and go psh, like I don't look at them a certain way. I'm like, yo, man, that's great, man. You have even more stuff to work with. I would love to know how to play keys and know how to play my own stuff in, and not have
Mhm.
to worry about taking a piano sample from a song. I would love that.
Right.
With time I will learn how to do that. But for right now I'm going to use the sample that I like. And
Right.
it is what it is.
It's
So.
just not that it makes one person better than the other. I always use this reference a lot. It's like your Joe Schmo, and I use that term loosely, like guitarist versus somebody
Mhm.
like Jimi Hendrix who can play different chords and all this other stuff. Like he learned how to be intricate with it and
Exactly.
study those little more details to get even better and better and better and better. So it's like that's what
Exactly.
separates it. So, you know, being somebody that uses samples, that doesn't make you a bad producer because again, like I
No.
said, in itself, that is such a creative process. Because I do this sample game with the kids at my job
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't think they really understand samples and recognize that. And as I was
Yeah.
researching it, one of the songs that I found, they used the seatbelt like dinging sound
As the
and put
sample,
it
they
in a
use.
song.
It's crazy.
And I
Yeah.
was like, yo, I can't even like process my own music and writing stuff down, but you managed to take the seatbelt sound from
And
a
sample it.
BMW and manifest it into a song. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening. I can't remember the sample. I think it's David Axelrod. I follow this one page on I follow this one page on Instagram. It's called, I think, Sample Bible or something like that. I can't remember the name
Mm,
of it. And they actually played the Dr. Dre, the doom 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 doom, and
yeah.
like when you hear it from the actual song, it's like it's not what you think it is. Like it has to be slowed down. It has to be chopped. But once you hear it, it's like, bro, that is genius. Like Dr. Dre is just different. You know, it's like when you hear it, you're like, bro, like that's insane. Like he slowed it down, he pitched it a certain way, then he chopped it, and it got you the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre song, you know, the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, yo, just like it takes a mind to hear that little 12 or 8 to 12 second sample and turn it into a hit that we have for ages. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
it's insane. You know.
And it
So
and it
that.
goes into that recreation again. He could have, and again, not to knock somebody that takes a sample and then literally just plugs it, but like he took it and then just modified it, chopped it up, mix it every which way. Like
Chopped
that's
it
such
up.
a
Yeah,
creative.
pitched it. Yeah, it's crazy. And then and that's what keeps me going as well as a producer. It's just hearing certain samples. You're like, bro, how did he do that? Like, it's like I said, I'll even send you the page when we get done the interview. I'll send you the
Yeah.
page that I follow, and you'll see some of these samples. You're like, bro, this is insane. And that's what, like when I have days when I can't think of something, I'll look at that page and go, all right, I can find something, and then I end up finding something, and I'm just like, man, like sometimes you need those certain pages to keep your brain fresh, to go,
Yeah.
yo, like if he can make that out of this, I'm really not looking hard enough. Like I really got to get in my bag and like look at certain things. So.
Yeah, like I remember watching The Art of Rap when it used to be on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever seen
Hmm.
that, but definitely
I've heard
just
of it.
super dope. And I just remember watching it because they talk with different artists, hip hop artists, rappers, if you will,
Yeah.
and some of them went through kind of like their writing process and things that
Hmm.
they do and how they write and when they write and why they write and like it's just so inspiring and it just makes you want to like learn those things like the syllables that they're using and how their brain works and
Hmm.
views it and it's
Yep.
like yo like I want to figure that like you said with the beats and the sampling it's like I want to figure that out like it makes me so eager to learn more and just build myself even more and apply it to myself like you said um making the beat like you take it or the sample excuse me you take it but then like you recreate it and make it your own so same thing with
Exactly.
kind of that stuff.
Yep. So it's not like you're just taking that little, 8 second bit and just throwing it in the middle of something. Like, no, you're chopping it up and going, turning it into something that you never thought that it could even be. And then that's the beauty of this. I tell people that every day. It's like, it's like, when I'm having a bad day, I can sit in front of my machine and in front of my laptop and use that as my, as my woosah. Like, like I can
Mhm.
just make music, like that's one of the most beautiful things about doing this is that even I'm sure like rappers when they have a bad day they can sit down with a pen and a pad and just write and just go, listen, man, this is how my day went, and put it into bars and put it into verses and put it in
Yeah.
any life experience, losing a loved one, going through certain things in life. You can put it in art form by putting it in bars, putting it in verses. It's beautiful, man.
How is being a how is producing kind of been like a therapy for you like I know for me like as an artist like it's helped me with dealing with losing my dad
Mm-hmm.
things like that like how is producing kind of helped you as far as like the therapy side because I know like again you mentioned like anxiety and things
Yeah.
like that.
Um, yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot. Just going through a lot of things, we all get depressed and anxious with life, and sometimes we go through it, and sometimes we just want certain things that we can just express ourselves on. There's certain times where I'll sit back and I'll make 4 beats, and like they may be within a mood that I'm in. Like, it may be a sadder beat, it may be an explosive beat, an angry beat. It could be, whatever like that you're feeling. Just like if you're an artist and you're making a song, every song isn't going to be happy. You can be in a really bad mood and go, hey, listen, da 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 da, and write a whole song about how you feel. But I'm doing it in a sound form. So like if I'm angry, the beat may be a little bit harder. If I'm in a great mood, it could be, a happy type of beat. It could be, I really use that to really get either my anger out or maybe show, emotion, things like that. So
Yeah, music definitely thrives off of emotion, for sure.
yeah,
Like, I mean, there's been moments where, I'm a little upset, whatever, and I just write and I just write and I just write and
it's
it just
right.
keeps coming and coming and coming. And then again, you're happy and you're like, oh man, this is a cool bop. Like, it just
Yeah,
allows you to just get those things out of you. It's such an
get
escape.
it out. Exactly.
It's such an
And that's
escape.
and that's a dope feeling, man, to like really, be able to express yourself that way. You don't have to, you know, be angry. You can just let it out. If you don't feel like going for a walk or going for a drive, especially with the way these gas prices are, going for a drive is the last thing you want to do. But you're able to sit back and really sit in front of your computer and just vent. It's really getting your shit off. You can really make a beat or do something that you're like, yo, man, this really helped me get through whatever I was going through. You feel me?
Hmm.
So
Definitely. Definitely.
so.
So, Red X just had a quick question. He was just asking where you were from.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from New York, but I live in South Jersey. So yeah, I was born in Manhattan.
Okay.
I was raised in the Bronx. I moved to South Jersey when I was in eighth grade, going into freshman year, and yeah, so I live in South Jersey. So
Okay. So you're pretty close. I mean, at least to me. Well,
yeah, yeah,
Massachusetts side.
yeah. I was to say yeah, Chicago, a whole different. Yeah, but yeah, Massachusetts. What's that? That's about like a 4 or 5 hour drive, something like that.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah,
3 to 4,
depending on
right? Yeah, okay.
which part a little bit.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Can't even remember the last time I've been to Jersey. I think the last time I was in Jersey was probably in college. No.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think college. Other than that, I think I've just like driven through it, but like actually like
Okay.
physically planting my feet in the ground was probably college. I went to Princeton
Oh wow. Okay.
for a track meet,
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I haven't been to New York in so long. I miss New York, man. I
Mm.
definitely need to go back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm trying to make my way out there obviously as an artist trying to branch out. It's just trying to find, those opportunities, those venues that will welcome kind of the underground, if you will, person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know the studio that I go to. I just started going to work on music called Rec Philly. It's a great studio in Center City, Philly, and people do their podcasts there. Like I said, I do my music there. Shout out my homie Sire. He put me on that. And yeah, he's a great producer as well. Like I said, it's dope having friends and homies who do this shit, and you could really like bounce ideas off them or like get gems from them. But yeah, he told me about the studio, and like people, like it's a great place for like creators, podcast people who do music, people who do things to just create, so it's like a whole environment for just creators. And I just recently got a membership there, and I actually got to book a studio session because I got some work to do. So, but yeah, it's a great spot. If you ever come down this way, let me know. So,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely want to.
so,
It's one of those things, man. It's like I feel like there's not
yeah.
enough time in the day sometimes.
There's not. There definitely is. I remember telling my friend that the other day. I'm like, man, there's not enough hours in a day, man, because you just get so boggled down with life. Like I said, my goal is to be able to wake up in the morning and turn on my laptop and work on music until I feel like going to sleep. That's my goal in
Facts.
life. To not have to work a 9 to 5 to supplement this, to be able to go down, if I have a studio or if I have a quote unquote man cave with my production stuff, or just to wake up in the morning, take a shower, brush my teeth, and go downstairs and just work on everything. Not have to worry about clocking in for a 9 to 5 or, and I one day I'm gonna get there, man. Like I said, it's gonna take persistence and a lot of hard work and grind, but I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, I want my 9 to 5 to be making music.
Making me exactly, yeah. So yeah, that's what I was trying. Yeah, like I want that to
Yeah,
be like
I know what you
I can lay down, and make money knowing that I'm producing music at a high rate. People are buying and investing into my production, and just doing that full on, all day every day.
mean. What would you feel is like, especially in like your year and a half, if you will, process? What is kind of the biggest thing that you've kind of learned, kind of growing into this culture, of music? I mean, you've kind of been in it because growing up with, the '90s and jazz, that's already being involved in the hip hop culture. Let's just
Yeah.
call it that. But like, what is, as far as producing, what is kind of the biggest thing that's kind of impacted you, in your process so far?
Basically just learning so much. Like I said, it's just and then meeting new people and creating those bonds. It's like it's not always about money. Some people, I know a lot of people that are doing this right now for a dollar, which is fine. I don't judge people who want to do this and make money. 'Cause I want to make money eventually too, but sometimes people sabotage relationships and certain things just for a dollar. And sometimes you have to look at it as no, this relationship that you build in the long run is going to bring you a lot more money than a measly $100 that you want for this beat that you just made. Sometimes people they don't play the long game; they play the short game. This thing is a marathon; it's not a sprint. So you got to be able to sometimes take a L or two to build a relationship. Or sometimes you got to be able to be patient and know like, hey, all this stuff ain't gonna come within a good year or two. You're gonna be in this for a long time. So I think that's one thing that me being in this for a year so far has really taught me is just being patient. Because like I said, sometimes I'll get ahead of myself and think like, hey man, I'm not progressing or I'm not doing this or that. And sometimes I gotta take a step back and go, listen, I've been doing this only for a year. And
Yeah.
I've had my homies tell me like, bro, like what you've accomplished in a year is wild. Like, I don't know people who ever get their shit played, on any platform in the first year of them even making anything. So you doing that in itself is wild. So he said sometimes you got to remember that stuff, and sometimes I forget that. I'm hungry. Like I said, like I'm gonna keep learning and keep moving and pushing and creating new, relationships with different artists and just getting myself out there. Um, I just, like you said, I just wish that there were more hours in the day. If 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 sleep was optional, I wouldn't need it. Like, but you need sleep
Yeah,
But if we didn't need it, I probably wouldn't take it. So, that's
thousand
just really what
percent,
it is. But yeah,
thousand
so
percent. It's just the passion that goes into it. Like I said, it's not about the money. It's just like the process and the creation. Like it keeps you up at night,
it does. It
if you
does.
will.
It does. It does. Yeah. There's been so many times where I've been laying in my bed at 1:32 in the morning and I'll hear something and I'll go, nope. All right, get up, and I'll go to my laptop, download the sample, and I'll just listen to it. And I'll be like, all right, well at least I have it in my laptop so I can come back to it in the morning. But there's been so many times where I've heard something on the radio or heard something on TV, even like a commercial. I hear a song from a commercial and I'll like use the app on my phone. I think it's called Shazam, and I'll be like,
Yeah,
oh, what's that song from? And I'll take it, and I'm like, yep, there we go. Like I needed that. So.
you have to, because like I've had scenarios where I've had like a bar pop in my head, and I'm like, yo, this is
Mhm.
dope. Like, to me, I'm like, yo, this is the dopest bar I've ever thought of. Like, oh, this is gonna kill it. But then I never
Yeah.
write it down. And then I'm like, no, I'll just remember it. I'll be good. I'll be good. I'll remember it. And like I keep
Yeah.
repeating it. And then all of a sudden you forget it. So it's like you have
You
to
like.
take those moments. You gotta get up, grab your
Mhm.
laptop and download that sample, write it down.
Write it down. Because you may not get that. You may forget that, and that may be the one sample that you're like, damn. You may have the drums in your head. You may have everything you want to do, and you just can't remember the sample, and that's tragic.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, Red X has definitely got it. I'll be like cooking or vacuuming or something like that, just walking around doing something, and like I'll get like the most random act of inspiration. And I'm like, yo, I'm just like vacuuming my living room right now. Why am I thinking of all these bars right now? But it's such
And
like
that's
a
how it
weird
goes, man.
thing.
I mean, we can't pick and choose when God hits us with inspiration. We just gotta take it when it comes. For real.
Amen. For sure. Yeah, he definitely guides, definitely guides in the right way. I'll definitely agree to
Definitely.
that. Amen to that. No, I really appreciate this, man. This has been super dope. Um,
Yeah, man. Like I said, I already knew that we was gonna have a good talk. From the because we were talking 15, 20 minutes before we even started. So,
serious.
I already knew that this was gonna be dope. So yeah, man. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, it's I just think back to all the mentors and stuff. The conversation we were having with mentors and stuff. It's just
Hmm.
dope. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you were able to find those people. Shout out to your team. Shout out to Coach.
Yeah.
Just all those people
Coach
that
and Jamel, all of them, man. Like just so many people. Like I can go on and on with the list of people who have given me gems, and like I said, there's so many to name. But I don't do it a lot because when I forget to name somebody on an interview, I feel bad because it's like, yo, like that person gave me something, and like, you forget to say their name, you're like, damn, so. But yeah, I have some great people in my corner, and thank you God for putting those people in my corner, because they're only going to help me get better and succeed, and you know, and like I said before, I've told people who want to get into this, I said, yo, man, listen, this one thing you got to really remember is that on this journey you're going to make friends and you're also going to lose a lot. There's going to be a lot of people that don't understand the days when you want to go party, or I mean, when they want to go party, or when they want to go do, go out and drink or do this or do that. When you locked in and you really want to, finish something, like sometimes they act like you're obsessed, or like you're not living life. No, it's just that they don't understand the process it takes to become great at this. And like I said, there's only a select few that do. So the ones that really do, they really understand your plight, and they really go, "Yo, bro, like I understand. Like just keep doing what you got to do." So, I told my friend that because he wants to get into music production eventually, and I said, "Man, it's a lot, but it's beautiful once you start getting into it and really learning the ins and outs. It's a dope journey. So, you know,
yeah, God is gonna only place the people that are gonna be beneficial in your life, and He's gonna remove everybody else because again, at the end of the day, there's those people that aren't gonna understand or be supportive, and it's gonna be detrimental to your growth, and you have to, as hard as it may be, especially like those people that you maybe had your entire life or for a
mm,
longer extended period of time, if they
yeah,
can't be supportive, especially in a dream that is logical, it's passionate, it's therapy, everything that is beneficial for you, it's not doing anything to harm you in any sort of way,
exactly.
why not be supportive of that? And again, if they can't, sometimes we have to make those hard choices and kind of cut those people and let God take those people away in order for us to grow and be better people.
Exactly, and that's why sometimes I don't sit up at night wondering, why I'm feeling like this. No, because there's certain people that just don't understand. They just won't understand. Like this shit is not nothing that you do for 10 minutes a day and become great. No, there's they say 10,000 hours. You got to put your 10,000 hours in, and that's really what it is. To be great at anything, you got to put that time in. And the ones that really understand, they love you and they go, yo, man, I see you on your journey. I mean, I'm gonna be here if you need me, and but just keep pushing. And those are the ones that you keep the closest. You know.
For sure. Shout out to all those people again, those day one people, the day one people that just continue to support, to the people that randomly come across us as creators that continue to that just support right off the rip and understand what we're trying to do. Like shout out to all those people.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
So before we wrap up, like I know we kind of mentioned it at the top of this, but what can kind of people expect coming from you kind of moving forward? What can they be looking for?
Well, like I said, the LCR project that I'm dropping, is coming soon. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still getting together, but that's my main focus right now. I have a lot of stuff coming out. Once I get this project out the way, then I can give more of a detailed, breakdown of what I got coming next. So this is like my main focus.
Sure.
But just look for my music, my production out there. I'm working with a few different artists. I don't want to name them right now because it's like a surprise is coming. But
Yeah.
there's certain things that I got coming. I got stuff coming with Black House. Like I said, shout out to Jamil and Coach. We got a bunch of stuff coming. Um, you know, I have a joint out on my homie Josiah the Gifts album, My Ears in the Sword. Shout out to the whole umbrella. Called Pray for Me. It's on the side A portion of the album. Great song. Josiah is one of the illest MCs, out right now. Um, I've worked with so many great MCs. Shout out my bro K Prez. Dope artist. He has a mixtape out right now that's spinning. That's great. I'm just working with so many different people, and I'm just blessed to be doing that. And I'm just gonna keep working. This year is gonna be another great year for me, and I just need the strength just to keep working, and that's all I need. That's the motivation is already within me. I just need the strength, and I'm good.
For sure. So anybody that is listening now or listening later, be patient. It's coming. Just be
Thank you.
just be patient.
Exactly. Your moment will come. I mean, don't sit back and get frustrated. God has a plan for all of us, man. It's just you got to sit back and just God sees us working. I'm a firm believer that God will not help nobody that doesn't see them helping themselves. So if God sees you pushing and working and putting everything into your craft, he's gonna help you and he's gonna get you there. You just got to keep working. So.
For sure, for sure. And lastly, like where can kind of people connect with you, especially those that are listening on Apple or Spotify, and obviously can't see the screen that we're both looking at right now. But how can
Yeah.
people kind of connect with you moving forward? Obviously, check out your stuff and get to know you.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at 88 Bless Beats. That's 88BLESSEDBEATS on IG. I am in the midst of making a Twitter. I'm gonna make that soon. And I'm also in the process of making a BeatStars page. So any artist that may be interested in getting production from me, they can tap in on there. If you have any, if you want to talk to me about maybe sending you a beat or just trying to get some work in, you can email me at 88busbeats at gmail.com. Just hit me on there. We can talk. And take it from there.
Word up, man. Well, definitely appreciate your time. Hour seems
I
to go by
appreciate you,
so
man.
quickly, and
It
we
does.
could definitely continue more. Would definitely love to have you on again and just kind of continue the conversation and just keep building and keep growing.
Definitely, man. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on, man. And yeah, enjoy Chicago. I know it's probably cold up there, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this weather going back and forth. That's how people get sick,
Facts.
and then they think they got COVID.
Right, for real, for real, for real. That's a whole nother conversation we can get into.
Exactly. That's nasty. But yeah, be safe up there, man, and have a good trip.
Thank you, appreciate it. Keep Red X Lion said, keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing.
Always, man.
Excited
Thank
to
you,
see
man.
what you're gonna be putting out, especially for your aunt. Much love to
Yep.
the aunt. Respect to you and your family. So
Thank you, man. You too, man. And you have a good one.
thank you, appreciate you. But for now, we're wrapping up right now. My name is Jay Faith. This is Travis, and this is Right Mind Wednesdays. We'll catch you next time. What's up?
Peace, man.